Interesting now as things fall apart, as I've been talking about what's really happened with Donald Trump. So let's go back to my supposition that Donald Trump used Saudi Arabia and Israel to get into our United States government systems and to hack into the DCCC. Let's assume that Donald Trump did use Israel and made an agreement with Israel that he would create a new Jerusalem for Benjamin Netanyahu, provided that the 8200 unit Black Cube helped out Donald Trump by getting into Hillary Clinton's server through their backdoor access that they're allowed to have because our agencies and their agencies work together. Okay? And let's say that Saudi Arabia helped out Donald Trump by having all the dirt on the congressmen that they have in order to make them have silence to what he was doing. And that they were given the agreement that they could get the missiles that they wanted that they could not get while Barack Obama was in, provided that they helped out Donald Trump. And Donald Trump would have some companies in their country that they would funnel money to, that he would liquidate through Nexus out of London back into himself in the United States of America as soon as his tax plan was there, and he would repatriate that money into himself as if it was companies that went under because of his presidency. Let's assume that Saudi Arabia and Israel came together and that Benjamin Netanyahu flew over to Saudi Arabia and sat down with MBS and went around and saw the old temple and felt great about the underground caverns and was like, oh, this is good stuff. I'm illuminated too now. And let's pretend that Israel couldn't get the firm foothold that they really wanted to hold their ability within the desert to have the oil that they need, A, to sell the armaments that they need, B, and to control their country like they want to by annihilating the Palestinians, who are also children of Judea. Then what you would need Donald Trump to do is have Mohammed bin Salman come to the United States of America and meet with you. And then after he meets with you, devise a plan through Michael Pompeo, who's working at the CIA. And with your CIA intelligence, go over to California and through Rupert Murdoch and California Hollywood, create a whole bunch of stuff that looked just like Iranian information and ship it over to Israel to make it look like Iran was working on nuclear weapons. Because you can't break the JCPOA without having a reason to. And the inspectors were allowed in, and Iran wasn't making nuclear weapons. Yet in the desert they needed this because they believed, now listen to me, they believed in a religion that's a lot older than what we understand. We believe that there's a religion out there known as Zoa. Okay? Zoa, or Zoroastrians, not Zorro. These people are very old, and they believe, based on the signs in the sky, that a certain coming is here. And if all the things line up, then most certainly God will see them and put them at the highest pillar, and days of old will become new again. And they were wrong. So Donald Trump with Jared Kushner gave all these deals and contracts over there in Saudi Arabia and Israel. The problem was that Michael Pompeo, Donald Trump, and Jared Kushner were working since 2014 to do this over there. Michael Pompeo came on much later. Flynn, who knew how to get a hold of the oligarchs that were necessary up in Russia in order to rig the election, who allowed for Maria Butina to get into the NRA, to steal all the information related to the people that are part of the NRA, that have ever been part of the NRA's enrollment, I guess is the words. So that way they could make sure that they got the voter turnout for Donald Trump. And then from there they did all the backdrop. By holding the congressmen and the senators of guilty, they could make people that would stand against them not stand against them. The funny thing is that things like Ashley Madison disappeared, and the credit card frauds disappeared, and the $18.5 million paid for sexual scandals, and that disappeared. Or how about the Madam? That all disappeared. It's just amazing how when Donald Trump got in, things like strong-arming and extortion became the norm. When Al Franken came forward, it was Donald Trump that said, well, what happened to picture 2, 3, 4, and 5? It was Donald Trump that had all the strong-arm information. Because Donald Trump is the one that we chose. He's our revelation. He chose those that would be around him, and then he destroyed himself. So God bless God. Just remember that the things that are occurring have always occurred. And they've always been prophesized. If you're looking for dead to rise from the earth, or If you're looking for great plagues, you see them. You have seen them. You're just not looking. You expect too much. You expect Walking Dead, and you expect everyone to die. Perhaps the good book wasn't written about total annihilation, but written as a warning so those that would annihilate us could be identified early. Jared Kushner is guilty. Donald Trump is guilty. The guilt lies upon them. You'll have to get him on emoluments. It's the easiest thing to nail him on. And then produce felonies before he runs for president, and then tout those everywhere he goes. He's a felon. And be very careful at his rallies, because those people are very dangerous, and people may die. And that would be very sad. But Donald Trump does not care. Donald Trump is a supremacist. Listen to when he talks about the rallies that he used to go to in the 1970s. That if you didn't like what they said at those rallies, they would take you outside and... What would they do, Donald Trump? Would they put you on a cross and burn you? Would they drag you behind a pickup truck? What type of things would come from that when your father, who's known to be a Nazi sympathist, who was busted at a Ku Klux Klan rally in the 1920s, who supported you, who had major amounts of his fortune come from overseas, how can we trust you? Why would we trust you? It's amazing how you've linked yourself to be Judean of the Jewish faith only because of Jared Kushner. Yet Jared Kushner has no Jewish faith. He's a pork eater. Shame on you. I love how Ezekiel said, look, all of you look like the sons of Abraham. All of you demand your place in heaven. All of you say that you're Judean and you love God. None of you are worthy of God's eyes. God bless God.